And back to our earlier story on the news coming from Chad, which have announced the death of former President Idriss, or late President Idriss Déby. We're joined now by international affairs analyst Paul Ejime. He joins us via Skype. Good to have you join us, Paul Ejime. He has said he was about to begin a sixth term, which is our late President Déby. He was about to begin a sixth term in office. Some people in that country would say he's the one president they've known all their lives. How would you chronicle or describe his years in office?
Well, he's eventful and in many ways perhaps served there are advantages and disadvantages to it in every life. His legacy is one that of somebody a military man who tried to fight to lead from the front. And this has now paid with his life, if we were to believe what the military said. But he's also known for repression of opposition. In the last election that he claimed about 79.3% opposition effectively boycotted that election. And in 2018, he brought in changes to the constitution, which would have allowed him to continue and even run until 2033. That is even after 30 years in office. That is how Déby has conducted himself. But at the same time, he was an ally of particularly France and then Western countries, NATO, US and all that, because they believe he was helping them to fight terrorism and insurrection, or Al-Qaeda, ISIS, even Boko Haram, along the Sahel and then West African region. But he has Chad, not with him, from independence, has been a heaven of uncertainty and instability. There were two attempts to remove him, one in 2008, and the last one was 3 years ago. But Chad had always come to his rescue. Recently, if you remember, he was Chad was the one that contributed troops to support the French troops in that region.
Mr. Paul Ejime, I will get to the security implication of this very soon, but I want to stay on the politics of this. He's been in power for so long, and like you rightly said, there have been coups and attempted coups in Chad. What does this mean for the politics of that country?
It means that the country will plunge again, if it has not already done, into more instability. Because look at what has happened. The military took over, and then they have installed his son. They say his son will be there for 18 months to, before they conduct another election. So what is chaos that is brewing? And the rebels are there. The rebels that he reportedly went to fight from the north, close to Libya. Where he sustained the injury that took his life. So there is political instability, constitutional crisis, and then insecurity. From there, remember that Chad is close to Nigeria, Burkina Faso, Mali, and there is also what you call the G5 Sahel countries. So that area hasn't known any peace. But the implication is that this has made matters worse. He was seen as a strong man, took the title of Field Marshal. But here we are, the Field Marshal has been killed in the battle. Where will another Field Marshal come up, and what does he do? He has not helped his country either. Chad is rich in oil and diamond and a lot of things, but that has not impacted on the country. I
want to pick on a word that you use, the field master. I want to stay on that because he was very much involved in the battle against Boko Haram. He was involved in the fight against insurgents as well in Central Africa, and then in the fight against jihadists in Mali. When you look at the region, he was at the forefront or at the center of key military operations. What does this mean for security in the region?
It doesn't bode well for security. For whatever whether his nuisance value or whatever, when he was there, at least some people can point out to say, well, and that was why the assembly gave him that title, because of the way he was fighting. You remember a video clip appeared was it last year or so, where he was, when Boko Haram elements had run to Chad. And there was a picture of him coming there in the battlefield and leading from the front. That is what, for whatever, criticisms you have against him, at least he showed that he could lead and then to fight. But that is not the issue. The point about this insecurity is that no one country can fight it. It requires collective effort, and not only collective effort, you also have to have your home in order. Yeah, from all indications, Chad had never known peace. And this has, remember the last president, Hissène Habré, was taken to Senegal for trial. And only God knows what is going to happen. He has stepped on a number of toes. There are rebels all over, militant groups all over the place that are against him. And then you don't know now what has happened. Whether this was a coup within his people, within his own ranks, because it's really difficult to say. There are more questions than answers. That's what I can tell you.
Let's talk about the questions, not even necessarily the answers. We might not be able to find the answers. We've seen an uptick in violence in the Lake Chad region, and Nigeria has relied so much on Chad for collaboration in the fight against Boko Haram. We can imagine that there might be some level of tension in Nigeria, in Niger, and Cameroon, who relied on Chad for collaboration. What should Nigeria be doing now to close the ranks when it comes to the role that Idriss Déby played?
Well, there is nobody is indispensable in anything, but he played his part. The world is a state. He has done so. I think he can. Now it's for Nigeria to re-strategize, to find another partner, because I think in fighting Boko Haram, Nigeria cannot do it alone. So there is need for that international coalition and partnership. So it depends now who takes over in Chad. Is his son, one of his sons, that who is a military man, that 37-year-old Muhammad, that has been named. So whether he will bring the kind of cloud that is his father, in the mold of his father, is another matter. But that the war should not end. International collaboration should not end with the death of one head of state. So, but it now depends on, there could be some, once that little gap between when a new strategy is put in place, and then between then and now, there could be some loopholes that the rebels may want to exploit. And that is what should be guarded against, to make sure that his death does not lead or escalate the already bad insecurity situation in West Africa and then the Sahel region. So that is how it should be. He played a part, that, like I was saying, but now he's gone. The war continues.
Absolutely. We will see how his son, like you rightly noted, his son has now been named the interim president of the military council. He's a general in the army, so we'll see how that plays out for security in the region. African international affairs analyst Paul Ejime, thanks for talking to us.
Thank you for having me.